Give me 1 second, everybody. 1 second. 1 second. Completely forgot to hook up my stream. Very unprofessional. My bad. My bad. All right. All right. My bad, you guys. Razor, Nicole, Jessica, BG, Junior, Bethina, T Stocks. What's cracking? What's up? What's up, Trusty? So we see today Jake Haro, I guess, is agreeing to a deal for apparently second-degree murder. So, hey, Ozzy says, yo, Dubs, I'm a FedEx driver and I'm not tossing packages. I got you. All FedEx guys were doing that. Why do I have this big old thing right here? Anyways, let's I want to talk about this, man. Jake taking a deal for second-degree murder. I'm kind of surprised, man, that this DA offered a deal like that this early. You know, a lot of times in cases like this, the DA they see an opportunity to make a name for themselves, right? And this was quick. I get it though, because it's such an ugly thing that if just getting it out of the way, getting this dude to prison is probably what the DA's office wanted to do. And it's actually the best thing he could have got. You know, so it sucks that he got the best thing he could have, because had he gone to trial, he definitely would have gotten probably the death penalty or life without. Regardless, because of his age, he will not get, you know, so California has this thing where as long as you're under the age of 25, you have action when you commit a murder. You have action of coming home. He's over 25. He has no action as a youth offender, and he's never going to get out. So at least we have that. He will never be able to hurt another child. Now, Gunner and I have had certain people hounding us when we were doing videos on Jake and Rebecca, and specifically backing Jacob. Oh, Jake didn't do it, this, and then I was like, yeah, right. Two different kids, one person in both relationships, and both of them, look at baby Promise. Look at the life she's gonna have to live. And then baby Emmanuel, we don't know what happened. We don't know where he's at. But this piece of shit is never going to be able to get out. He's never going to be able to have any type of comfort in prison. That's a fact. Hugh, what we're talking about is Jake Haro allegedly is going to take a deal for second-degree murder, which is 15 to life. That means there's no weapon involved, because, like, for an example, I got second-degree murder, which was a 15 to life term. However, I used a gun. Back then, it was 1, 3, and 5 for the gun. They gave me the max, which was 5, which made it 20 to life. Now, it's I think they can give you more than that. I don't know, but Rebecca LBC says from hola to adios. No shit, man. Good riddance too. Sun Fortune SWP, what's up, big dog? He says 15 to life is too good for him. It is. It actually is. Hey, Big Gun says, can I get 20 matches? Let's support Dubs. Thank you, homie. I appreciate that. So now we have, hopefully this is true and he's going to be out of the way. He's going to get the max, which is 15 to life. There's no weapon involved, so he's not going to get anything less. If he's signing a deal for 15 to life, that's what he's going to get. Rebecca, the fact that he is pleading guilty to second-degree murder doesn't mean that Rebecca can't also wind up with a life sentence. Um, I mean, I'm sure her attorneys are gonna work something, and if they feel they're not offered the right thing, they're gonna probably be willing to go to trial and point out the fact that Jake admitted to doing it, and by the time they would get into trial, Jake would already be doing his prison term, so he would probably be willing to come back and take all the rap and save his lady. Fuck, right? But it's still it's still such a um one of those cases where everybody that hears anything about what happened to baby Emmanuel is not going to have any kind of sympathy for Rebecca Harl. So she can take a deal now for life or wait and wind up with a worse sentence than Jake. So I think that's all we're waiting for. Um she's not in a good spot. If she, I mean, her attorney has to know, no matter what, if you don't take whatever deal they offer, you're going to wind up fucked. And I don't think any of us have any sympathy for her, right? Tobecca. Will a suspect be able to live long enough to complete his sentence? That depends on where he lands, who he lands with. I would assume he's gonna hit a level 4 SMY. And I just don't see him having a comfortable time. SWP, I feel the same way. SWP says she'll go to trial and put it all on the line. I think she seems like she's probably going to go that route, but her attorney has to ethically explain to her, you're going to get fucked if you do that. Like I said, there's too much emotion involved in what she did. There's way too much emotion. You can't hurt children like that. Anyone's children, but especially your own. I mean, I'm sure if they try to bring up Jake, then the state would be able to bring up Jake's past. Like, this isn't the first time he's hurt one. He's hurt it. He hurt his daughter. And how could a woman like you choose a man like that, knowing what happened to his first child, or I don't know if it's his first child, but his daughter, right? So there's nothing that she could do. There's no kind of defense that she would be able to put up where people would have sympathy for her. I don't give a fuck if she still has a black eye, Sorry, I'm getting some messages I have to answer. What's up, Cheeks? Miss Choctaw says no empathy or sympathy for either one of them. Not at all. They had no empathy or sympathy for the children that they hurt. Thank you, Chubb Life. I appreciate that. Yeah, they have no empathy or sympathy for the children that they hurt, especially Jake. So we're not going to have any sympathy or empathy for them. They're hell no, not at all. And as I'm gonna continue to stress, I don't see Jake having a good time in prison. There are more murders in the California Department of Correction on the SMY yards, and the majority of those murders are against the type of offender that Jake is. And anyone that targets women and children, those are the majority of the ones that the musician. What musician? Hey, did you see the dude that got unalived, the actor? No, I don't know which one. In England? No, I didn't even. So just to remind you guys, I don't even watch the news. Gunner called me and let me know that Jake was found guilty, and me, having been sentenced to a second-degree murder case. Watkins, Ian Watkins. I don't even know who that is. I figured I'd get on for maybe 20, 30 minutes with you guys. And this one will stay up. That's why I'm not playing any music. So, whatever questions you guys have, if I can answer them, I will. Sadie says, I definitely used to think it wasn't true that those pieces of shit got justice in jail. Now I know I was wrong. Oh no, there's a lot of them. If they survive, it's on them, but they get assaulted with weapons on a regular basis. Bodyguard says, as a former officer of the court, dudes like this are not protected. They're not at all. Nobody likes them. What's up, Omar? Exactly. Steeler says, and it ain't going to be any better for Rebecca. Look what they did to Pearl Fernandez. They got her, I think, twice, right? I wonder if it's part of the plea that he has to tell where the baby is. I think he already did. And I think that's why the authorities aren't looking. I think that wherever, and it sucks to say it, right? There's no way to say it that sounds okay. But wherever they dumped the body, wherever they left baby Emmanuel, it's not going to be able to, the baby's not going to be able to be found. For one, it would be decomposed after this amount of time, and two, it was so little, right? The baby was so little that I think that's just why they gave up. I think when the whole thing came out with Jake supposedly confessing to an informant, and people were saying that's not a confession. It is a confession. The guy had a wire on. He was sent there for that reason. I think that was the beginning. He knew that was the beginning of the end. And just think about what he said. He tried to lie and say he rolled over, and so it was an accident. So if it was an accident, why did you throw your son in the trash? Because that's what he told the informant. How old was the child? We don't know, because we don't know when he was actually killed. We think he was 7 months old, but we don't know. And imagine the story that Rebecca told. She was changing the baby on the car, and somebody walked up and said, "Hola," and knocked her out. Yeah, of course, Steelers. It was no accident. Anybody that does anything like that on accident, you jump up, you fucking dial 911. You're in a frantic fucking frenzy. You're trying to revive your child. You know what I mean? You're not. Your first thought isn't, "Hey, you know what? Let's just throw it in the trash and not notify the authorities." That's fucking wacko shit. What's up, Becky? Miss Roundbally says, the moment she finished her story, I knew it was BS. Yeah. The reason why Rebecca said that is so Trump would blame illegals. Wow, that's reading a little bit too much into it. I just don't think obviously she's not intelligent to be in a relationship like that and having her ass whooped all the time, watching her child get whooped, and not be woman enough to say, you know what, I'm grabbing my kids. As soon as he walks out of the house, I'm grabbing these kids and getting the fuck out of there. Gunn just released his video right now on this topic, so make sure you guys go over there and check it out. Yeah, she definitely wasn't thinking of the president. She was thinking, how am I going to get away with killing her son? Chingao. No, facts, Jessica. Any real mother would have just got up and left. Grabbed it. He's not going to be in that house 24/7. Let him walk out of the house for 5 minutes. That's your 5 minutes to get your kids and get the fuck out of there. So that's another reason why we got one of these monsters. He's done. He's going to take a deal. He's going to the joint. Now we're just waiting to see what happens to the other monster, right? Is she gonna play hardball and get more time than him? I wouldn't be surprised. That would just fit into a pattern of stupidity, right? Jessica, thank you to you and Gunner. Never have given up on baby Emmanuel. No, no. Hey, thank you, Ted. Hey, gracias, hometown. What's up, big dog? We got 2 hometowners in here right now. You believe it was to mislead the investigators? I think you got to understand. Those investigators investigate homicides. That's their job. They're homicide squad, right? You're not going to mislead them. The first person they're going to think did it is you. They start with you. Junior said she went to the Big Five to get a mouthpiece for herself. All the putazos Jake was giving her. Yeah, she stayed with a black guy and was always, it's one of those weird things where she probably was, as long as, it was okay in her mind, probably that her son was being abused as long as it wasn't her. The fuck? Chrissy, what's up? I'm mad he pled guilty. If this is true, because they still lives baby Manuel with no justice, as he has never been found or had answers to where, when, and how. Chrissy, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we really want to know what happened. Do we? I think what we know enough is already horrible. And I think if he was really honest and truthful about what he was doing to that kid, it would sicken a lot of people. Rascal, I never believed her story, but when you put it that way, a few minutes behind, it's glaring. Órale, gracias. The homie got me again, huh? But he was abusing her as well, wasn't he? He was. And as a woman, she should have fucking had a couple minutes a day where she could have got up, grabbed her kids, and left. She had family. She could have got up and gone out of there. Period. Alvaro says they're both snakes. Facts. Luckily, I've never met a woman that would let anything like that happen to their child. I've been around a lot of strong ass, stubborn women that have been like, fuck that. Actually known a few women that would have probably just smoked their old man for doing some shit like that. This woman sat there and accepted it. And who knows? I don't know if she participated or not, but you kind of are a participant when you sit there and you do nothing. Absolutely, there are women's shelters. Chrissy says, I guess you are right. It just hurts my soul that as an innocent baby, there is nothing but a story of horror for the 8 or 9 months on this earth. No shit. Hey, what's up, Matt? How you doing? Bolio? Is that how you say it? Matt Bolio? Yeah, there you go. Miss Choctaw was like, I don't want to get, GSZ. Come on, homie. Do I think he'll get the death penalty? No. Second-degree murder doesn't carry the death penalty. You have to be found guilty of special circumstances, special allegations. And on this one, he, second degree is not going to fall under that. Rad divorced dad. Not sure how Rebecca can stand on any other defense as a victim or reduce. There is none. There's. I'm telling you, she's only going to get more time if she does whatever fucking deal they offer. That's the best thing smoking. Jump on that. Take your ass to prison and take your medicine. Jessica says, no man never touched my children nor hit me. That's right. Sheepdog says, extremely sad to say, but the baby is in a better place than with them. Absolutely. What's up, Lali? How you doing, big dog? Hennessy, what's cracking? We're just going over this real quick. Jake Haro is apparently going to plead guilty to second-degree murder. He's going to catch the chain soon. I would not be surprised to hear that something happens to him. And I'm not saying, I don't promote violence. I'm just keeping it real as an ex-convict. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that something happens to him in reception center. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Um, I'm not bullshitting when I tell you there are some guys in prison that have nobody looking out for them. They have nothing going. They have no hustle. And they'll see people like that and they get it in their minds. If I whack this dude, if I down this dude, I'm going to get mail. I'm going to get people wanting to fucking look out for me. They look at people like that as a trophy. So I don't see him fitting the criteria to get housed in the PHU in Corcoran. So he's going to get thrown out on the SNY. It just depends on which SNY they throw him out on. They will tear his ass up. Lolly says, Dubs, got in here late. Can we get a quick recap on what? So allegedly, Jake Haro is pleading guilty to second-degree murder, which is going to carry 15 to life for him. Because of his age, he doesn't fall under the youth offender protection, and he will never get out. He's going to have to do a minimum of 15. He'll get a hearing at 7. I think they still do that at 7. He won't be found suitable, and he's gonna be getting 115s, even though he's gonna be the victim a lot of times. He's gonna get some write-ups. He's not going home. So did he do it, or he's covering up for Rebecca? He's not covering up for Rebecca. Rebecca. So there would have been a bifurcation in this case. It would have been a bifurcated trial where they wouldn't have tried them together because it would have inflamed the jury. If Rebecca would have had a trial with him, the jury would have been inflamed against her because of her being with him and all that. So now that Jake has pled guilty, if she's stupid enough to play hardball, by the time she would go to trial, I've already said this earlier, by the time she would go to trial, they would probably pull him back down to take the stand and say that it was him. And the jury would still be like, you know what? How the fuck could you? Regardless of the law, people are people and have emotions. And people would really judge that woman based on the fact that, hey, you sat there and you never got your kid out of there. Regardless of he was whooping you, you picked a man that had already fucking made his daughter a vegetable. There's no good. I'm telling you, whatever they offer, if they offer her second degree, she better take it. Lali, I think he already gave up the location. But the baby was so small and so much time has gone by. I don't think there's any way that they would be able to locate the body. Hey, what's up? Shout out to New Mexico, the 505. How you doing, Danny? Well, Eddie, I've always been against the death penalty because people like that get saved. They get put in their own section. Nobody can get to them. Nowadays, California doesn't execute anybody, so they're throwing people with the death sentence out there on the SNY yards if they belong in the SNY, or if they're a GP, they throw them out on the GP now. Gunner and I will be going live tonight. We still haven't decided. We had said we weren't going to drink until Friday, but I guess I'll pose a question to you guys. You guys think we should have a few drinks tonight or wait until tomorrow? 1 for tonight, 2 for tomorrow in the chat. I'm good. How you doing, Ezekiel? Razor. Now they do, Miss Round Valley. It's because California doesn't execute anybody. Damn. GS said today and tomorrow. Shit. I'm good. Shane, how you doing? Yeah, it's not gonna be 1 and 2. I don't think 3 today and tomorrow. Yeah, no problem, William. Excuse me. And like I said, Gunner just dropped a video on this. So as soon as this live's over, make sure you head over there. And then I'm gonna be dropping another video on this channel um talking about King Nico. It's amazing the things that people are willing to say and do on social media. Okay, yes, he is going to be eligible for parole, but I just don't see him ever becoming eligible. It takes a lot. That malt liquor, I'm nah. Thank you for that though, Danny P. I appreciate that. 3 for right now. No, we're not going to drink right now. Got to take care of some stuff. What's up, Filter? But it looks like everybody wants us to drink tonight. So more than likely, we will be drinking tonight. It's great to see you almost hit 100K. Been watching you since you were at like 20K. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a close. I'm going to talk to Gunner, see what we're going to be doing tonight. But make sure you go over there to his channel right now. As soon as this is over, check out the video that he just posted about this same thing. And once again, thank you guys very much for the support. I appreciate you, man. Everybody have a great day.